Yo, what's up?
Hey, what's
I'm really excited to talk about this pad. It's the Lethal Gaming Gear Neptune and it's quite a special one. This could be my new favorite because of its speed and feel. So let's start off with the surface. The Neptune is Lethal Gaming Gear's fastest pad, and to be completely honest, the speed is not that mind-blowing. For a relatively softer pad, it is pretty fast, but if you've tried the MPC 450 before, you'll notice it being a little slower gliding. The texture, however, is pretty unique and amazing in my opinion. On Lethal Gaming Gear's website, they say that the Neptune has a light texture, and I couldn't agree more. It's like a watered down version of the Venus, but it's nice feeling and doesn't irritate my skin at all. It's made of polyester but feels different than other pads like the Venus or even the Temple of Dream from Padsmith. However, one thing to note is that despite the pad being somewhat soft, like you can press down on the pad and it'll sink in, the Neptune is 3mm, which is on the thinner side, so using it can feel like you're using a hard pad when you're playing, especially when you do quick swipes. The stack friction of this pad is low. It's not at the level of a glass pad, but it's still really easy to start a movement, very effortless, which is great for precise motions and micro adjustments. The dynamic friction is slightly higher, which affects the overall glide speed of the pad, but it's not major. In my opinion, this sits between a true speed pad and a balance pad, leaning towards speed a bit more, but if anything, this makes the pad viable for a lot more people. People who play tracking heavy games will not find it hard to switch directions, and tac shooters can also enjoy the benefits of easy corrections while having a little bit of control to fall back on. This in combination with the surface gives an airy feeling while you're using it. You will notice the slight coarseness of the pad since it is lightly textured, but overall it does feel like you're moving on air, which kind of fits the Neptune because their logo for this pad is the wind. The one downside to the Neptune, even though I don't mind it, is the overall comfort. It's pretty comfortable and I had no issues with using it for longer sessions, but if you were to throw in a 4mm soft cloth pad, this would get blown out of the water. Some of the Tiger Esports pad like Neon are so comfortable it's like putting your arm on a pillow. This is no pillow, you're just on a thin mouse pad with some texture, so if it's something you're looking for, maybe your arm is more sensitive than mine or maybe it increases your gaming experience, then this might not be for you. Next up is the build quality. This is nicely built. Almost perfect apart from some smaller issues. The stitching is done well. It's low profile so it doesn't dig into your arm and your arm doesn't get caught on it. There's no fraying like on my copy of the Venus, and overall is an upgrade I think from the previous batches of LGG's mouse pads. The pad doesn't come out flat though. When I first got it out of the box, both the left and right sides were curled because it comes in a tube. It's pretty wide but it's still a tube, so the pad takes some time to flatten out. I had to put it between two glass pads for around 2 to 3 days before the pad actually got completely flat, so that's something to note. Another thing to mention is how easily the pad gets dirty. I'm not sure if it shows on camera, but after the first day of using it for a couple of hours, I noticed these white marks on the pad, but the strange thing was that it appeared on places where I normally don't use. I'll usually be playing on the middle to the left side of the pad, and yet most of the white marks show up on the right side, which I barely touch. Judging from the appearance though, it reminds me of when you drop some powder on your pad and you try to wipe it away, but you only get most of it with a little bit still stuck there. That's what this looks like, but I haven't done anything like that in years, so I'm not even sure how they got there. You also can't try to hide it by getting a brighter colored version like a red or orange because they only sell the Neptune in this dark grey, which is basically black. The base of the pad is also solid. It uses the Japanese rubber foam and it works flawlessly. I can't get my pad to move even if I put a lot of force into it. Apart from those two minor issues, I'd say the Neptune is built great, almost perfect. The base also blinks a little when you shine light onto it like the stars, so that's pretty cool. Now, who is this for? Well, I think that the Neptune suits a wide range of people because of the well-balanced friction despite being a speed-oriented pad. I would say that there are a category of people that would be more incentivized in trying this pad out, and it's the people that are using a control pad at the moment and they feel that it's a little too slow for their liking. Sure, they could get a balance pad, but this should be in the consideration as well, since it has that increased speed, but it's also got a little bit of control that they're worried a genuine speed pad might not have. The surface is also great, that makes your movements very effortless, which is nice for people who don't want to feel like they're rubbing the arm across sandpaper, right? In my opinion, the surface will be its main seller for people who already have experienced the speed pad because most of them are either very abrasive like the MPC 450 or they're silky smooth like the Lamsu Energen or most recent glass pads. This sits right in between and it's a really good texture. Overall, if you're looking for something a little more unique, This pad is right up your alley. I enjoyed using this quite a bit. It's close to perfect, but if you hold comfort as a major factor when choosing a pad and it's quite high in your priorities, then you might want to look for something else.